Mornings in their small city started peacefully, but for Alex, 30, and Emma, 28, every day still carried a special kind of light. They had been married for just 6 months, and everything still felt fresh, exciting. Their little apartment wasn't far from downtown, but it was private enough that they could feel safe and warm within it. The kitchen always smelled of fresh coffee, with soft yellow light spilling onto the wooden dining table, where they shared breakfast and talked about everything from work, friends, to far-off dreams like traveling or buying a new home. Emma sat on a chair, her chin resting on her hand, staring out the window at the tall, bending oak trees swaying in the morning breeze. She loved this quiet morning moment when the city was still waking up and everything seemed to belong just to them. Alex stood nearby, pouring coffee from a clear glass pot, listening to the gentle hiss of the liquid as it hit the cup. He wasn't usually the romantic type, but with Emma, he found himself noticing all the little details. The way she furrowed her brow when she thought, the subtle smile when she looked at her coffee, the soft exhale as she inhaled the aroma of the fresh brew. Marriage wasn't always easy, but for them, the little difficulties were smoothed over by curiosity, learning about each other day by day, and the small playful moments that brought smiles at unexpected times. Emma sometimes teased Alex with tricky questions about his opinions, little debates they both knew neither would truly win, and Alex, logical and a bit rigid by nature, learned to soften, compromise, and give a little, just to see her happy. In the afternoons, they often walked around the nearby park. Red brick paths lined with tulips and blooming roses made the air feel both romantic and intimate. They held hands, chatting about small things, the freshly painted bench, a new coffee shop on the street, or a painting Emma wanted to hang in the living room. These walks made the rest of the world fade away, leaving just the two of them exploring how to live together in harmony. Beneath all this peacefulness, though lay subtle differences they hadn't fully acknowledged. Alex viewed the world through logic, analyzing and judging through reason rather than emotion. He resisted traditional notions he considered restrictive, especially the idea of purity culture, the belief in abstaining from sex before marriage, which he saw as controlling and harmful, especially toward women. Emma, on the other hand, grew up in a culture that valued saving herself, not just as a personal choice, but as a symbol of love and respect for her future partner. For her, this wasn't just a physical decision, it was a gift, a spiritual commitment, a demonstration of trust and love. They had never explicitly talked about it, but both knew it existed, like a quiet thread woven into their personalities. Alex never truly valued this kind of gesture. He believed love should be about respect, understanding, and partnership, not society's moral codes. Emma hoped, one day, that Alex would recognize the significance of her choice, but she hadn't voiced it yet. Evenings were their favorite times. With soft yellow light spilling through the curtains, they sat on the sofa. Alex would wrap his arms around Emma, listening to her recount her childhood, her dreams, her fears. In those moments, Emma felt that even if Alex didn't see things exactly her way, his love and care were real. She treasured every word, every gesture. Every time he placed a hand on her shoulder when she felt weary or anxious. Their first 6 months of marriage felt like a slowly forming painting, colors not fully blended, but every stroke meaningful. They laughed, had minor arguments, learned to listen and yield. In every moment, they trusted their love was strong enough to overcome obstacles. At least for now, Alex and Emma also had small habits that only they understood. Alex liked running early in the morning, while Emma preferred sitting with a cup of tea, writing a few lines in her journal. They often prepared breakfast together, yet each kept a little space for themselves, balancing intimacy with personal freedom. Alex would tease Emma by pretending her coffee was too weak, making her laugh. Emma would get back at him by hiding sugar or milk, creating little playful moments that bonded them further. Beneath these everyday gestures, they were building a solid emotional foundation. But their differing views on sex, virginity, and personal values simmered quietly. Alex didn't see virginity as a special mark. He believed love was built on respect, understanding, and companionship. Emma, however, had spent years thinking about this, seeing it as a spiritual gift she wanted to give to her partner. Sometimes, Emma looked at Alex with both warmth and worry. She knew he loved her, but she wondered if he truly understood, if he truly appreciated her choice. These unspoken questions lingered like seeds, waiting for the right or wrong moment to sprout. One evening, while preparing dinner, Emma asked softly, a mix of curiosity and hesitation in her voice, "Do you feel special that I waited for you?" Alex smiled, not yet answering, busy tossing salad ingredients. Little did they know, this quiet, ordinary moment would mark the start of a chain of emotions. Neither of them expected a night that would test honesty, love, and the delicate balance of two hearts learning to navigate each other. That night, their small apartment was bathed in soft yellow light from the ceiling lamps, the steady tick of the clock filling the quiet, peaceful space. Alex had just come out of his home office, holding a glass of red wine, a weekend habit. He used both to relax and to stretch out a few precious moments with Emma. Emma sat on the sofa, hugging a pillow, her eyes flickering with a mix of anticipation and nervousness. She had spent the whole day thinking about a question she'd wanted to ask for a long time, but had never summoned the courage. "Alex," she began softly, her voice trembling just enough to convey the seriousness of what she was about to say. Do you feel special that I waited for you?" For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Alex looked directly into Emma's eyes and saw not only curiosity but also a hint of fear, a fragile hope. He understood this question wasn't really about virginity, it was a message, a test of trust and love that she had been preparing for years to place in his hands. But after a few drinks, Alex's usual candidness took over. Without thinking too much, he let out a sigh, set his glass down on the table, and blurted, honestly, "No, I never really cared about that. I've never paid much attention to it. And honestly, I hate purity culture." Silence fell over the room like a heavy curtain. What had felt so peaceful just moments ago now felt cold and tense. Emma froze, her chest tightening. She had imagined a different response, a softer answer, a small acknowledgement that she was special in his eyes. Instead, these words cut through all the trust and hope she had placed in him. She turned away, quiet, letting her heart ache in silence. It wasn't that she didn't understand Alex's perspective, but she hadn't imagined that his brutal honesty could wound her so deeply. In that instant, everything seemed to crumble. The gift she had given him, the choices she had made and cherished for years, all felt dismissed by his words. Alex saw the shift in Emma's expression and felt his own heart tighten. He had never meant to hurt her. He only wanted to be honest, to let her know that he loved her for who she was, not for her past or for what society expected. But now he realized that honesty without sensitivity could easily become a weapon. Emma faced him. eyes glistening, voice low but sharp. "Alex, don't you understand? This matters to me. It's not just about virginity. It's about the trust and love I've put in you." She buried her face in her arms, gripping the pillow tightly, trying to hold back tears. Alex sat silently, feeling the emotional distance between them, for the first time a gap not of space, but of heart and values. Alex sat there for a long moment, his own heart heavy, knowing he had to make it right but unsure how. He could feel every subtle signal of her withdrawal, the way she recoiled when he reached out, the slight shake of her head, the long silence between words. Each little detail reminded him that he had hurt the most important person in his life, Emma. I never meant to hurt you," he finally said, his voice heavy with regret. "I love you. Not because you waited, not because of what anyone else thinks, but because of who you are. I just didn't know how to show you before." Emma turned her head, tears welling up, and wanted to believe him, but doubt still lingered. She felt, for the first time, the distance between their hearts so clearly. She wanted to scream, to shout that everything she had done, every choice she had made, mattered. But instead, she sighed and sat quietly, letting the emotions gather inside her. In that moment, Alex realized a vital lesson. Honesty alone isn't enough. Love requires sensitivity, understanding, and sometimes the wisdom to balance truth with the other person's feelings. He needed to find a way to make Emma feel that he truly valued her choice, that he understood the significance she had placed in their love. That night, neither of them slept. They sat together, lost in their own thoughts, but their physical closeness kept them from drifting completely apart. Alex watched Emma, seeing her fragility, her hope, and her sadness. He knew this night would change how they saw each other, and how they understood love, trust, and emotional sensitivity in their relationship. And in that quiet, tense moment, their story began to shift direction, where honesty, emotions, and appreciation would have to find balance for two hearts to reconnect. After that night, their small apartment no longer felt peaceful. The soft yellow light from the ceiling lamps still spilled over the dining table, still streamed through the curtains onto the hardwood floor, but the space felt heavier, as if every breath, every sound, every familiar object reminded them of the distance that had just formed. Emma woke up early, but this time she didn't feel the usual lightness. She sat on the bed, hugging a pillow, her eyes staring blankly into the empty space. Her heart felt squeezed by Alex's words that seemed simple, but had cut deeply into her soul. She loved Alex. She still loved him, but the sense of safety, the feeling of being truly cherished, had vanished. The emotional gifts she had given him, the choices she had valued the most now seemed meaningless in her eyes. Emma felt as if a part of her heart had been left behind, unsure when or if it would ever return. The scariest part was that she didn't know how to tell him how hurt she felt, because this pain ran too deep to put into words. Meanwhile, Alex couldn't sleep either. He sat on the sofa, holding a no-cold cup of coffee, staring into the empty room. He realized that just one careless comment had created an invisible gap between them, a gap he had never experienced in their relationship. He asked himself, why did I have to be so blunt? Why didn't I think about her feelings before I spoke? The weight of his mistake hit him more clearly than ever. Honesty without sensitivity had turned into the reason he hurt the person he loved most. The day passed in silence. They had lunch together, but no real conversation took place. Familiar gestures, the hand on a shoulder, a small smile suddenly felt foreign. Emma avoided Alex's gaze, afraid that if she looked at him, she would cry. Alex tried to reach out, but every time he did, she pulled slightly away. That distance hurt him more than the words he had said. The feeling of being left behind wasn't just pain, it was loneliness within a relationship she had trusted completely. Emma asked herself, does he really understand what I've done, what I've placed in this love? She felt torn between reason and heart. Reason reminded her that Alex loved her, but her heart throbbed painfully every time she recalled his words. Alex also wrestled with his conscience. He remembered all the moments of the laughter over breakfast, the strolls through the park in the afternoon, the quiet evenings on the sofa. He realized that love wasn't just honesty, was also understanding and cherishing the other person's feelings. And he hadn't done that each day that passed. The distance between them felt like an invisible river, flowing silently but deep and wide. Emma reminded herself that love wasn't supposed to be easy, but she still believed Alex was worth her trust. She remembered why she loved him: his patience, his care, his gentle smile, the way he noticed small details in daily life. But now, all of it seemed overshadowed by the darkness of that fateful night. Alex decided he couldn't just stand by. He began approaching Emma with small gestures, everyday actions, leaving her favorite coffee on the table, sending texts to ask if she'd eaten lunch, letting her see that he cared, even if he couldn't fully express it in words. But Emma still kept her distance, still silent. She didn't rush forgiveness because the wound was too deep to vanish in a moment. In the days that followed, Alex began to reflect not only on himself, but also on their past. He remembered the ways he used to smile at her, compliment her cooking, hold her hand while walking down the street. He realized that all of those loving actions weren't enough to fully convey the respect and appreciation Emma needed. He needed more than words, more than small gestures. He needed to understand her emotions and the values she placed on each decision. Emma, in turn, went through her own self-reflection. Sitting by the window and watching oak leaves fall in the street below, she remembered why she had chosen to wait for Alex. It wasn't just for him, it was because she believed. Because she wanted to give the most important part of herself to the person she loved. Now, feeling left behind brought pain and anger, but also the realization that love wasn't only about gifts, it was a challenge, a way for two people to understand and accept each other. One evening, as the soft light of the living room lamp fell over Emma's favorite painting on the wall, Alex quietly approached. He didn't speak right away. He gently took her hand. Emma closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of his touch, but still didn't respond verbally. In that moment, words weren't necessary. Alex understood that for her to open her heart again, he would have to be patient, to prove through actions and real care, not empty words. In the following week, they began to rebuild their rhythm. Alex learned to observe the smallest details, the way Emma brewed her tea, the way she furrowed her brow when thinking, the soft smile when she found something amusing. He realized that these little gestures mattered as much as words. Emma, in turn, began learning to observe Alex not only through what he said, but also through his actions, through the quiet efforts he put in for her. That painful distance became, in a way, an opportunity. Alex understood that love required sensitivity, a balance between honesty and emotional awareness. Emma realized that being hurt didn't mean the end. It was a chance to evaluate and appreciate both her own feelings and those of her partner. One night, sitting together on the sofa, drinking tea under the soft glow of the lamp. Alex gently said, "I know I hurt you. I'll do everything I can to show you that I truly value everything you've put into this love." Emma looked at him and sensed the sincerity in his voice. For the first time in days, she smiled tentatively, carefully, not a rushed smile, but a smile of trust beginning to return, a willingness to begin healing. That night, no flowery words were needed, no grand declarations. Just presence, awareness, and patience. They learned that in love, distance isn't just caused by mistakes or words, it's shaped by the way two people are willing to understand, endure, and wait. That night also marked the beginning of a long journey for their hearts to reconnect, from hurt to a deeper understanding than ever before. In the days that followed, they talked more. Alex learned not only to speak his feelings, but to listen deeply. Emma learned to open her heart without immediately judging. They began to rewrite the rhythm of their marriage. Evening walks, laughter-filled breakfasts, sharing past stories, dreams, and fears. The distance from before still lingered, but it became a catalyst, helping them understand the value of love, empathy, and patience in a marriage. A week after that night's argument, their small apartment still carried the weight of silence. The familiar space felt tense. Even the sounds of the street outside or the clink of water into a glass seemed to make them uneasy. Emma sat by the window, staring at the falling leaves on the street, a cup of tea in her hand untouched. Her mind spun in circles with thoughts. Does he really understand? Is our love strong enough to survive this? Alex stood near the kitchen doorway, watching her quietly. He knew he had to do something, not with empty words, but with actions and sincerity. He took a deep breath and stepped closer. "Emma." His voice trembled, but there was a weight behind it he hadn't used before. We need to talk. Not just about that night. I need you to hear me, and I want to hear you too. Emma turned toward him, her eyes still heavy with sadness, but cautious. "Say what you need to say," she replied, her voice low but firm. "But this time, you have to understand that words aren't enough. I can't just hear them and forget the pain of that night. I need to feel that you truly get what I sacrificed and placed into this love." Alex nodded. He knew she was right. He sat down beside her, keeping enough distance to avoid making her uncomfortable, yet close enough that she could feel his care. "I understand. I didn't fully understand before. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for hurting you, for being so blunt without thinking about your feelings," he said slowly, each word heavy in the quiet room. Emma stayed silent, but her heart began to sense the sincerity, not through flowery words, but through the way he sat, patiently, giving her time to open up. She took a long breath and finally spoke. "Do you know what matters most to me? It's not about virginity or saving myself for you. It's about the decision, the trust, and the respect I wanted to receive from the person I love. And you made me feel like none of that mattered." Alex exhaled, looking down at their hands, so close but not yet touching. "I understand. And I know that words alone aren't enough. I need to show it through my actions, through genuine care, and by respecting the values you hold dear." The silence that followed wasn't heavy anymore. It was filled with potential. Emma could feel his heartbeat, sense the sincerity in the way he gave her space without pushing. The next morning, Alex decided to do something special. He prepared breakfast, not just toast or coffee, but all of Emma's favorite things, carefully arranged on the table. A small note sat next to her coffee. "I know I hurt you. I can't change the past, but I will do everything to show you that I truly value everything you've put into this love." Emma saw it, and her eyes welled up not with pain this time, but with emotion. She looked at Alex standing near the kitchen, a tentative smile forming on his face. She realized that he genuinely wanted to heal, to understand, and to honor her in the way she needed. The story didn't end there. Over the following days, they began to talk more honestly, but with care and sensitivity. Every word, every gesture was thoughtful. Alex learned to listen not just to words, but to subtle emotional cues, to Emma's small reactions. Emma learned to open her heart, but also to hold on to her strength and self-respect. One afternoon, they walked together through the park. Sunlight filtered softly through the trees, casting warm patches of light on their faces. Alex held Emma's hand, and this time she didn't pull away. They talked about dreams, worries, and even hidden fears. The invisible gap from before had vanished, replaced by a deeper connection, but the challenge wasn't completely gone. Another evening, when Alex shared a difficult day at work, Emma realized that he, too, needed empathy and understanding. They learned to share emotions without blaming, to admit mistakes, and to keep moving forward together. Each step of healing was small, but meaningful. This turning point wasn't just an apology or a thoughtful breakfast. It was the moment they realized that true love isn't always easy. It's a process of understanding, honoring each other, and being willing to change for one another. The distance of that fateful night had now become a catalyst, helping them build a stronger foundation for their relationship. That night, they sat together on the sofa, speaking little. Alex gently placed his hand over Emma's, and this time, she didn't pull away. Just being there, feeling and acknowledging each other, was enough. They learned that love isn't just words, it's actions, patience, and the willingness to face one's own mistakes. Finally, this turning point marked a new chapter in their relationship. Not a perfect chapter, but an honest and profound one. They both realized that to preserve love, sometimes you must endure distance, accept pain, but if you listen, learn, and cherish one another, every gap can become an opportunity to grow closer. After their efforts to heal, life seemed to return to a peaceful rhythm in Alex and Emma's small apartment. They went on walks together, talked more, and gradually regained the connection they had lost. But love, no matter how carefully nurtured, always has a way of testing patience and understanding. One Friday afternoon, Alex received a call from work. He was offered an ambitious new project, which meant he would have to travel frequently for the next several weeks. When he told Emma, her eyes dimmed for a moment. "You're going to be gone that much?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady, though anxiety seeped through. Alex nodded. "Yeah, and I know it's going to be tough for both of us. But you know this project is important for my future, for ours." Emma lowered her gaze, feeling a pang of worry. She understood the reason, but her heart twisted. In the short time they had just repaired their bond, separation now loomed again as a new challenge. She wondered, was their love strong enough to survive the long days apart? Could she remain patient and not feel abandoned again? During Alex's first few days on the road, Emma felt emptier than she had imagined. The apartment was silent, the ticking clock the only companion. Each time her phone buzzed, her heart raced, hoping it was Alex, but sometimes it was just messages from others. The ache of missing him surged, mixed with fear that distance might undo the trust they had worked so hard to rebuild. "Alex, on the other side of the city, wasn't having it easy either. He worked from dawn till late evening, but in every quiet moment, thoughts of Emma intruded. He worried about her, wondered if she felt lonely, questioned whether the efforts he had made were enough to keep their relationship strong during his absence. He started texting and video calling as often as he could, but he knew messages and calls were only small pieces of the real connection. One evening, Emma's old friend came over, and in a moment of vulnerability, Emma admitted that she felt lonely and anxious while Alex was away. Her friend looked at her with concern. "Emma, are you sure he really understands? Sometimes men just don't notice how much their absence affects women." Emma returned home with a whirlwind of thoughts. She realized that the new challenge wasn't just about physical distance. It was about maintaining connection and understanding. She questioned herself. Could she stay strong without expecting too much, without letting fear control her emotions? Meanwhile, Alex wrapped up a long day, staring at Emma's messages. Part of him was relieved that she was staying in touch, but another part worried about the underlying anxiety in her words. He knew that geographic distance would be a true test, and that love isn't just maintained with words or small daily gestures. It requires trust and deep patience. A week later, on the weekend, Alex returned home. The apartment was still quiet, but Emma's eyes lit up when she saw him walk through the door. She ran to him, wrapping him tightly in an embrace, as if to make up for the days apart. Alex held her just as firmly. In that embrace, they found the safety and connection they both longed for. Yet, the challenge wasn't over. They realized that love isn't only tested by travel or physical distance. It also comes from differences in how they handle emotions, how they communicate under stress, and how they balance personal needs with the relationship. Small disagreements arose. Emma wanted to talk all day while Alex needed to focus on work. These moments required patience, compromise, and attentiveness to each other's needs. One evening, sitting together on the balcony, gazing at the city lights reflecting off the tall buildings, Alex said, "I know this distance has tested us, but I've realized that every day apart makes me want to make this relationship even stronger." Emma leaned her head on his shoulder. "Me too. Each day apart reminds me that love isn't always easy. But as long as we're together, I believe we can overcome any challenge." In that moment, they understood that this new challenge wasn't a threat to their love, but an opportunity to grow, to learn deeper empathy, and to build stronger trust in their marriage. They realized that every distance, every trial, could be a valuable lesson if they approached it with patience and care. In the weeks that followed, Alex and Emma developed new routines: short video calls before bed, sweet morning texts, and little notes reminding each other they were always thinking of one another. The geographic distance was no longer a source of fear. It became a catalyst, helping them appreciate every moment together even more. Through these challenges, a new bond emerged, stronger, deeper, and full of hope. They understood that love isn't natural or effortless. It is the result of patience, empathy, and continuous effort from both partners. A month after Alex returned from his long business trip, their small apartment had come back to life, but not everything was perfect. During his absence, underlying tensions had begun to surface. Emma realized that, even though they had repaired their connection, her fear of being abandoned still lingered, and Alex felt the pressure to continuously prove his love. One Friday evening, after dinner, the conversation started innocuously. "Did you notice how cold it is today?" Alex asked, trying to keep things light. But Emma, exhausted from a stressful week at work and personal worries, responded with a sharp edge. You always care more about the weather than how I feel, huh? Alex blinked in surprise. He had never heard her speak this way before. What are you talking about? I care about you, he tried to explain. Emma's voice rose, tears welling in her eyes. No, you only care when it's convenient. When you're on a trip, I have to handle everything on my own. When you're busy, I have to stay quiet so you don't feel pressured. I don't want to feel like I'm always waiting for you. Silence filled the room. Alex lowered his head, feeling the pain in her words. He knew that despite his efforts to stay connected through texts and video calls, the distance and stress during his trip had left deep cracks in her heart. He stood up and stepped toward her, his voice trembling but determined. Emma, I didn't realize you felt this way. I thought I was doing everything I could to keep our love strong. I'm sorry. I didn't know you felt so abandoned. Emma looked at him, her eyes fierce, yet pained. You have to understand. Love isn't just words or small daily gestures. It's being truly present, understanding when the other person is vulnerable, listening without judgment. You made me feel alone, even when you were trying to love me. Alex was silent, his heart tightening. He realized their love had never been tested like this before. The combination of distance, personal pressure, and Emma's suppressed emotions. He knew he had to make a choice not about love or care, but about how to truly be a husband who walks beside her. Emma. I want to try something, Alex said, voice shaky but resolute. For the next week, I'll be here just for you. No work, no phone calls, no emails, just us. I want you to feel my presence, truly. I don't want distance or anything else to pull us apart again. Emma looked at him, tears streaming, but this time they were tears of emotion. She could feel the sincerity and effort in every word he spoke. You really mean that? She whispered, choked with emotion. Yes. You matter more to me than anything else. I'll prove it, Alex replied firmly. The following week, they lived as if it were the first time together, free from the distractions of the outside world. They walked hand in hand through the park, talked about things they had never shared, and Alex listened to Emma's fears, worries, and quiet emotions without judgment, without excuses. He just listened, just showed up. Emma, in turn, opened her heart fully. She shared her loneliness, moments of insecurity, and even her quiet desires she had never dared to speak before. She realized that love isn't just receiving, it's about trust and understanding. One night, sitting together on the sofa, Alex gently said, I know this week can't erase the gaps from before, but it's proof that I'm here, and I'll never let you feel alone again. Emma rested her head on his shoulder, feeling his heartbeat steady. I believe you, and I know our love is strong enough to get through any challenge, she whispered. The emotional climax peaked as they realized that love isn't about perfection or grand gestures, it's about facing challenges, enduring difficulties, and always finding their way back to each other. They learned that every argument, every suppressed emotion, can become an opportunity to understand each other better. If approached with patience and care in the days that followed, their relationship became stronger than ever. Conflicts didn't disappear, but they learned to handle them with maturity. Alex understood that love is not just action, but consistent presence and deep empathy. Emma understood that opening her heart, sharing her feelings, and trusting the one she loves is the only way to build a lasting relationship. By the end of the week, they sat on the balcony together, gazing at the city lights sparkling across the skyline. Alex held Emma's hand, and this time, there was no distance, no doubt, only love and trust, reinforced through the trials they had faced. They knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, as long as they faced them together, they could overcome anything. Life seemed calmer after the previous challenges. Alex and Emma had begun rebuilding their daily rhythm together, each day appreciating the little moments of presence. But love, as they soon realized, always knows how to bring unexpected shocks, testing both patience and the deepest trust. One Saturday evening, with warm yellow light spilling through the window, Emma received a call from her mother. Her mother's voice was urgent. "Emma, something serious. You need to come home immediately. Your father was in an accident." Emma's heart dropped. She stammered, trying to stay calm. "Dad, is he okay, Mum?" Her mother sighed, her voice trembling. "He's stable. But you need to be here, Alex. Can he come with you?" Emma turned to Alex, her eyes filled with worry. He grabbed her hand, steady and reassuring. "Of course. We'll go together. You won't face this alone." The journey back to Emma's hometown brought a flood of complex emotions. On the way, she recalled childhood memories, moments with her parents, and the difficulties her family had faced. Alex, sitting beside her, remained quiet but attentive, providing the stability she needed. When they arrived, the sight took Emma's breath away. Her father lay in the hospital bed, quiet but stable after surgery. Emma ran to him, hugging him tightly, feeling both fear and relief. Alex stood beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder, giving her strength through his presence. That evening, after her father was settled, Emma and Alex sat on the small balcony of her childhood home. The space was quiet except for the chirping insects and the glow of streetlights. Emma looked at Alex, voice trembling. "Alex, you've been with me through everything, and now, when things get bad, I realize I need you more than ever." Alex held her hand, eyes locked on hers. "You don't have to say anything. I know. I'll always be here, not just when things are easy, but when we face the hardest moments. We'll get through this together. Don't you believe it?" Emma nodded, tears streaming, but this time she felt a profound sense of love and trust. She realized that love isn't just about happy moments, it's the strength to stand together during the most difficult times. But the challenge wasn't over. The next day, as Emma prepared to return to the city, the doctor called her back. "Emma, we need to discuss something. Your father will need a longer recovery period and will require your frequent presence. This could affect your schedule and how you live." Emma turned to Alex, eyes wide with concern. He held her hand firmly. "You're not facing this alone. We'll figure it out. Whatever happens, we'll handle it together." That night, as they sat together, the conversation became more profound than ever. Alex and Emma realized this turning point wasn't just about personal feelings. It was a challenge to how they managed their lives, careers, and responsibilities. They had to make an important decision. Were they ready to adjust their routines, prioritize love and family, or let life's pressures drive them apart? Emma sighed, resting her head on Alex's shoulder. "You know, I always thought I could face everything alone, but now, I understand that real love is enduring together, sacrificing together, and finding a path together." Alex looked at her, warm and determined. "Exactly. And you'll never be alone again. We're a team. No matter the challenge, we'll overcome it." This moment marked a major turning point in their relationship. Love wasn't just feelings or promises, it was the ability to face the unexpected, make crucial decisions, and stand side by side without retreating. In the following days, they began making new plans. Alex adjusted his work schedule. Emma organized her time between family and the city. They learned to be flexible, patient, and supportive of each other. Every decision, every step, was carefully considered. But both felt that this turning point had deepened their understanding of each other more than ever. This major turning point wasn't just about an accident or physical distance, it was a test of commitment, trust, and the ability to navigate life's challenges together. Alex and Emma realized that as long as they faced everything together, they could transform any difficulty into an opportunity to strengthen their love. The days after the major turning point in Emma's hometown felt both relieving and heavy with thought as Alex and Emma returned to the city. They had overcome a significant challenge, but everything wasn't truly resolved. Distance, work pressures, and unspoken expectations lingered, quietly threatening the relationship they had just rebuilt. One Wednesday afternoon, Alex received an urgent email from his company, requiring him to travel abroad for 2 weeks. At that moment, Emma had just returned from a few days caring for her father. She stood by the window, staring blankly, her mind spinning. "Alex, you have to go again?" she asked softly, her eyes filled with worry. Alex came over, taking her hand, trying to reassure her. "I know, and I'm sorry. But you know, this project is important for both our future." Emma looked at him, fear and emptiness swelling inside her. She wondered if their love could withstand this new test, or if all the effort they had made so far would prove temporary. That night, they sat together on the sofa, silence hanging heavy in the warm glow of the living room. Finally, Emma exhaled, "Do you know? I'm scared. Every time you leave, I wonder if I'm strong enough to keep this love alive." Alex hugged her tightly, his voice trembling but firm. "I'm scared too. But we've faced so many challenges already. I believe we'll get through this one too." Yet the anxiety didn't vanish. In the following days, Emma became more sensitive, easily hurt by the smallest things. Alex felt the pressure weigh on him. He didn't want to disappoint her, but work and responsibility couldn't be delayed. They started arguing over trivial matters: who should cook dinner, who calls her parents, even their daily routines. One evening, after a minor disagreement, Emma burst into tears. "Alex, you don't get it. I need you here, not just physically, but in my heart and mind. You're always busy, and I feel left behind." Alex lowered his head, overwhelmed by guilt and helplessness. He knew she was right. He had focused too much on work, forgetting that love required emotional presence and continuous attention, not just promises or small gestures. He placed his hands on her shoulders, voice shaky but determined. "Emma, I'm sorry. I haven't been what you needed, but I want to change. I want to show you that I'm here, not just when it's convenient, but whenever you need me most." Emma looked at him, eyes red, a mix of pain and hope. She felt the sincerity in every word. "Can you really change this time? Or will these words just be promises that fade?" Alex squeezed her hands, eyes steady. "I know words aren't enough. I'll act. We'll make a plan from now until my trip. We'll spend real quality time together, talking, sharing, being present. No distance, no silence, no misunderstandings. Emma took a deep breath, tears streaming, but this time with willingness and trust. Okay, let's try. But this time, you have to prove it, not just say it. In the following days, they truly lived together. Each morning, Alex woke early to prepare breakfast for Emma. They took walks, talked about everything from the city, work, to childhood memories. Alex made time to listen to Emma's fears and worries, without arguing, without excuses, just being fully present. Emma, in turn, opened her heart completely. She shared all her emotions, including her deepest anxieties about distance, work, and the fear of being left behind. She realized that love is not only about receiving, it's about trust and the courage to open up, even when it could lead to vulnerability. The emotional peak came one evening as they sat together on the balcony, gazing at the city lights. Alex said, "Emma, if we get through this next week, whether I go on this trip or not, I believe this love is strong enough. Nothing can tear us apart." Emma rested her head on his shoulder, feeling his heartbeat steady. "I believe you, and I know we'll come out stronger than any challenge ahead." This final climax closed a chapter in their story. Their love had been tested to its extreme, through conflicts, fears, and the pressures of real life. But through presence, understanding, and genuine commitment, they found strength in each other. Love was no longer just an emotion, it became patience, trust, and continuous action to sustain the relationship. After days of tension and conflict, Alex and Emma realized that love isn't just tested by big crises, it's often challenged by the small, everyday moments they had overlooked. Both were exhausted, but they recognized this as a precious opportunity to strengthen their relationship, turning challenges into a solid foundation for their love. The first day back in the city, the air between them was still a little tense. But Alex decided to take the first step toward making peace. He prepared a simple, warm breakfast: toast, eggs, coffee, and fresh fruit. When Emma came downstairs, she found him smiling gently. "Good morning. Want to eat together?" he asked. Emma smiled, a little shy, but warmth spread through her chest. "Yeah, thanks, Alex." They ate in silence for a while. Each bite of toast felt slow but meaningful. After a few minutes, Alex spoke. "Emma, I know this past week has been really rough. I want to say I'm sorry if I hurt you. I've realized that love isn't just about feelings or words. It's about being present and truly understanding each other." Emma nodded, her eyes glistening. "I know, I'm sorry too. I let fear and worry take over, and I overreacted. But now, I want us to do things differently, slowly, step by step." They began talking about the feelings they hadn't shared, the loneliness Emma felt when Alex traveled, the stress from work that left him distracted, and the subtle anxieties that Emma had buried inside. This time, there was no arguing, no anger, only genuine listening. Alex promised to spend more time with Emma, not just physically, but emotionally as well. That week, they started new routines. Each morning, Alex sent Emma a long text, sharing his plans for the day and asking about how she felt. Each evening, even when tired, he set aside at least an hour to talk about everything from work, friends, and quiet worries, to childhood memories and dreams. Emma also learned to open up fully, not just sharing big feelings, but the small, everyday details, work frustrations, little worries, moments of sadness she had once kept to herself. Alex listened, comforted, and helped her problem solve. making her feel valued and safe. One evening, they walked through the nearby park. Trees swayed in the gentle breeze. Birds chirped softly, and the golden streetlights cast a warm glow. Emma took Alex's hand, her voice tender. "You know, I used to fear the distance and the times you were busy. But now I see that real love is about enjoying the ordinary moments together, not just the big, romantic ones." Alex smiled, squeezing her hand lightly. "Exactly. And I've never been happier than I am right now, just being with you, hearing you talk about everything, laughing with you, and sharing this life." In the following days, they devoted more time to caring for each other and their shared home. Alex helped with chores, cooked meals, and even learned to make some of Emma's favorite dishes. Emma prepared little treats, wrote small handwritten notes, and sent texts full of love. Every small gesture became a thread weaving them closer together, strengthening their trust and affection. They also learned true forgiveness. Alex forgave Emma for her moments of hypersensitivity, and Emma forgave Alex for being too focused on work at times. This mutual forgiveness soothed old wounds and made their love more resilient. One day, sitting together on the couch, Emma looked at Alex. "You know, I used to think I couldn't handle big challenges like these. But now I understand that love is about facing them together, not always easy, but always side by side." Alex held her tightly, his voice quivering but firm. "You're right. And I've never loved anyone as much as I love you. This love isn't just a feeling. It's a commitment, a presence, and daily patience." They began planning long-term, not just for careers or travel, but for family, health, and shared dreams. They learned to balance responsibilities with love, work with personal life, ensuring neither felt left behind. That week, they tried a new activity, writing daily journals and reading them aloud to each other. This helped them understand each other's thoughts and needs more deeply, avoiding unnecessary misunderstandings. Each night, they would sit together, reading, laughing, crying, and brainstorming ways to improve their relationship. The chapter's resolution culminated one special evening. Alex and Emma sat on their balcony, overlooking the city lights. Emma rested her head on his shoulder, her voice soft. "You know, I'm not afraid of distance or pressure anymore, because I know, no matter what happens, you'll always be by my side." Alex held her hand, gazing into her eyes. "And I feel the same. Our love isn't just about feelings. It's about commitment, presence, and actions every single day. I promise to always be with you through every moment and to face every challenge together." The days after their breakthrough felt different, lighter, warmer, and more intentional. Alex and Emma had discovered that real love wasn't about grand gestures or dramatic moments. It was about showing up every day in small, meaningful ways. Mornings became a cherished ritual. Alex would brew coffee while Emma picked out music for the day. They'd eat breakfast together, not rushed, talking about plans, little annoyances, or funny things they'd noticed on their commute. Even a casual "did you sleep okay?" or a quick joke became an act of intimacy. During the day, they stayed connected in thoughtful ways. Alex sent Emma little messages, sometimes a single sentence that made her smile, sometimes a paragraph sharing a silly thought or a small victory at work. Emma, in turn, would send photos of her coffee cup, her desk, or a sunset she caught on the way home. These tiny threads wove them closer, bridging any physical or emotional distance. Evenings became sacred. No matter how tired they were, they made time to reconnect. Some nights they cooked together, experimenting with new recipes or making comfort food. Other nights, they simply curled up on the couch with a movie, sharing commentary, laughter, or comfortable silence. They also introduced weekly check-in short sessions where they could talk openly about anything: stresses at work, family concerns, or dreams for the future. These conversations weren't about solving every problem, but about understanding each other's world and supporting one another. On weekends, they explored the city together: farmers markets, coffee shops, small hikes, or just walking through familiar streets, talking about memories, plans, or ideas for their apartment. Every moment, ordinary or special, became an opportunity to connect. They celebrated each other in small, thoughtful ways. Handwritten notes left on the kitchen counter, surprise breakfasts in bed, playlists made for long drives, or simply holding hands while walking home. Alex learned Emma's favorite way to wind down after a stressful day. Emma noticed the little rituals that helped Alex feel calm and supported. These weren't flashy gestures, they were consistent, deliberate acts of care that made love feel alive. Their commitment to forgiveness and patience continued to strengthen their bond. Disagreements still arose, but now they approached them with empathy and curiosity, not frustration or blame. Every misstep was a chance to understand each other more deeply, not to score points or dwell on hurt feelings. Over time, their home became a Havana reflection of their shared life. Warm lights, cozy corners, and thoughtful touches reminded them that love was built in the spaces they shared and the time they invested in each other. One night, sitting on the balcony again, this time with a bottle of wine and the city skyline stretched before them, Emma leaned against Alex and whispered, "I love this life we're building. I love how it's real, not perfect, but ours." Alex kissed the top of her head, smiling. "Me too. It's not always easy, but it's ours. And every day we choose, it choose us." And that was the secret. Love wasn't a peak to reach or a test to pass. It was a daily practice, a commitment to show up, listen, care, and grow together. Alex and Emma had learned that the extraordinary moments were made from ordinary days, and that happiness, in its truest sense, came from building a life together, hand in hand, step by step.